The release date for Captain America New World Order has been fixed. The fourth Cap movie is scheduled to hit theaters on May 3rd, 2024. While there's still more than enough time until then, there has been an increasing amount of information about the new Captain America from Marvel in recent months. In order to save you from having to read through the entire web, we have already done the work and compiled everything that is known. Who will be in the film? Who will be the new villain? And what kind of connections will be made to other new Marvel releases? All these interesting questions are covered in this week's original episode, so keep on watching. As you can guess from the date alone, New World Order will be set at the end of Phase 5. We cannot yet say for sure what conditions will prevail in the world until then. After all, movies like The Marvels and the Disney Plus series Secret Invasion will surely leave their mark on Earth. Phase 6 of the MCU will kick off shortly after with Fantastic Four, so it may very well be that we will already see one or two teasers for the new set in Captain America 4. If we focus on the antagonist, then the series She-Hulk could also be relevant for the film, but more on that later. As most of you probably know, the shield of Captain America was passed on from Steve Rogers to his good friend Sam Wilson, aka Falcon. The story of how he eventually becomes Captain America is told in the series Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which we will briefly discuss. If you have not watched the series yet, you should skip ahead to the next part, as this one will contain some spoilers. In the beginning, Sam did not want the shield at all and gave it back to the US government. The latter also seemed to have no interest in a black American carrying Captain America's shield. Instead, John Walker was to become the new Captain America. This drives a wedge between Bucky and Sam, since the latter had not granted Steve's last wish to become Captain America. On top of that, a new organization is threatening the world order. The members call themselves Flag Smashers, and they wish to restore the world to its state before the blip. They obtain a serum similar to the one given to Steve during World War II. As they find out, there are more super soldiers in the world, including Isaiah Bradley, also an African American, who helped the government during the Korean War. In the end, Falcon and Bucky succeed in stopping the organization, and Sam accepts his role as the new Captain America. Especially when it comes to the cast, there is some interesting news. For example, there are some actors from the MCU that we are already familiar with who will play in the film. One returnee is making it back into a Marvel production for the first time in 16 years. Those who have already checked the cast list will also have noticed that a couple of names are missing, who no longer play a part in the story around Cap. But enough talk, and let's get into the details. One thing that is already certain is, of course, Anthony Mackie in the role of Sam Wilson, or from now on, better known as Captain America. When the movie premieres, it'll be exactly 10 years and 1 month ago that Falcon joined his friend Steve Rogers to destroy S.H.I.E.L.D., or rather, Hydra. We also got to check out his suit in the last episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Unlike Steve, he naturally also has his wingsuit at his disposal. Besides, all the white and red colors resemble even more the flag of the United States. Along with Mackie, Danny Ramirez and Carl Lumbly are also back in the cast. Ramirez played the CIA agent Joaquin Torres, who already alerted Sam to the Flag Smashers in the series. He will most likely have a similar role in the movie, even if the enemy organization is a lot more powerful and dangerous with the New World Order. Carl Lumbly, aka Isaiah Bradley, is also expected to reprise his role. The super soldier, who is getting a bit long in the tooth, will surely no longer actively intervene in the battle, but he will certainly help the young Cap with words and deeds. New to the series is Sabra, whose real name is Ruth Bat Saraf. We may already see the young Mossad agent in Secret Invasion, as she plays an important role in the corresponding comics. The agent is embodied by the Israeli actress Shira Haas, who was last featured in the miniseries Unorthodox. The fact that Sabra is now being introduced into the MCU is again a reason for many comic readers to prick up their ears. After all, at least in the comics, not only is she an agent, but she's also a mutant. After the cameo appearance of Charles Xavier in Multiverse of Madness and the mentions of mutations in Ms. Marvel, clues about the X-Men in the MCU are becoming more and more obvious. The bad guy is already part of the film's title. Similar to Hydra, it is again not just a person, but a whole organization, the eponymous New World Order. This was founded early on by the Red Skull and settled in the jungles of the Amazon. After years, they tried to manipulate the Hulk by brainwashing him, which they succeeded in doing for a while. However, in the end, Hulk broke free from it and crushed the organization along with the help of the Avengers. Although they managed to reorganize, a short time later they were finally destroyed by Apocalypse. In the new movie, the organization is also joined by a familiar face, or rather, a villain we have not seen since the Incredible Hulk. We are talking about Dr. Samuel Stearns, aka Leader, as in the 2008 film. He is played by Tim Blake Nelson. There, he was responsible for turning Emil Blonsky into Hulk's enemy, Abomination. At the end of the film, he got some of Banner's blood himself, himself, and his head began to swell. To this day, Marvel has not incorporated this again. Fitting with this announcement are also the rumors about him being behind the attacks on Jennifer Walters, aka She-Hulk. In addition to telepathic abilities, Leader also has robots similar to Tony Stark and Ultron in the comics, which he built himself and who fight on his side. Either way, we are very excited to see the new old villain. Unfortunately, one character is no longer part of the movie, and this will surely disappoint all fans of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Sebastian Stan as Bucky Barnes is sadly not featured in New World Order, especially the lack of relationship between the two, who were the closest allies of Steve Rogers, now causes fans to feel more heartbroken. Yet, he is not gone from the franchise, of course. While Sam fights alone against Leader, Bucky plays an essential role in the film Thunderbolts, which will be released shortly after. Not part of the movie either will be Chris Evans as Steve Rogers. Contrary to all rumors, he has stated via Twitter that there will only be Sam. Rumors of whether Emily Van Camp will be back once again as Sharon Carter also remain to be confirmed. At the end of the series, spoiler alert, it turns out, after all, that she is the notorious crime boss, Power Broker. It would be appropriate that Sam is again dependent on her help in some way, when he once again has to destroy an organization. But as mentioned, nothing has been confirmed nor denied so far. Since the film is currently still in the early stages of development, there is not that much information about the production yet, but there is a change of director. Since the previous directors of the Captain America movies, namely Joe and Anthony Russo, are busy with other productions, Julius Ona will take over. The Nigerian-American filmmaker last directed the drama Loose, which was released in theaters in 2019. Set to return as scriptwriter and showrunner is Malcolm Spellman. He is the man who previously wrote the story around Sam Wilson on Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Further information about the production is sadly not available to us yet. However, you can find all the future updates about Captain America 4 New World Order in our news video, which is published every Saturday. As with the production, not much is known about the plot so far. One of the main issues here is that there is no Cap-centered comic story on which the creators can rely. Thus, creativity is needed. One rumor that has already gained traction in fan circles is that there might be a return of the Red Skull. After the Soul Stone was destroyed, there is nothing left for him to protect on Vormir. Hence, he might return to Earth to run the organization he founded after decades. Or maybe it has not been established yet, and he takes over this job. With Dr. Samuel Stearns as his first henchman, he has also immediately found someone who carries enough hatred against the Avengers. It is also conceivable that they try to turn Cap's allies against him by means of mind control, as in the comics. At this point, it would become interesting to see whether John Walker makes another return. It surely does not take much to put him in a position against Sam, since the latter has unwillingly outstripped him as Captain America. Here, we could also easily picture the Power Broker, who involuntarily gives the resources of the underworld into the hands of the New World Order. However, it will probably take a while before we know anything for sure. After all, filming on the movie is not scheduled to begin until early 2023, and before the first set photos are released, we can only keep speculating. For example, in the comments down below. Alright, that was all the info there is on the fourth part of Captain America so far. Is there anyone else from the MCU you would like to see in the cast? And what are your thoughts on the plot? Let us know in the comments, and if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up.